This one perspective shift helped me detach from somebody who was no longer a good fit for me or who wasn't in my life and I was still emotionally attached to. Came from a situationship, all right, and about a year and a half of the on and off and back and forth and going no contact for several months, and then he comes back in and doing that whole roller coaster ride. I finally was able to heal the parts of me that were still attached and still made meaning of who this person was, and this is how you can too. This would be a great journaling exercise, but you can think about it too. But if you write it out, it'll become much more clear. What is the story I'm telling myself about this person that has them still relevant in my current life? When maybe they're not even physically in my life, or they're not in the role that I want them to be, and that's what's causing the suffering. It is the story in your head, the thoughts that you're thinking about them, that is keeping the emotional attachment, which is all a fantasy. It's all made up. So you may be looking at one example of who they were to you at a certain point. So for me, the first couple weeks of us dating was amazing, like so good, very love bomby, right? I loved it. I was addicted to it. I loved the way that I felt. I loved how led I felt. I loved how safe I felt. It wasn't consistent over time, but I got stuck on like a few moments that we had in those first couple weeks. And that's what kept looping in my head. And the story I was telling myself was, nobody's been able to do that for me. I have never felt that led and safe and protected with a man before. Therefore, he is the cause and the source of me being able to feel that way. So I kept going back looking for that same feeling. I never experienced it again after that time because we didn't have trust and we didn't have consistency, and he was hot and cold. But it was just those few moments that my brain locked in on, almost like a drug of like, we've got to get that back. And I used him as the source of it, as opposed to I'm able to experience that. He sure brought it out of me. He allowed me to see that I could experience it, but I made it all about him, that he was the source. So I had to try to get back to him giving me that feeling instead of recognizing I am the source of that feeling. And it's possible for me. It's just not going to be long-term sustainable with him. Alternatively, you may be stuck on what could have been. So it's almost like this future grief of a reality that never happened, but that you had painted out in your head while you guys were together of what life could have, should have, would have been. And you get very locked into that being what you wanted, and you are making them the main character of that story, that you can't get to that feeling that you wanted to feel and the life that you were going to live without them in it. And we need to remove them from that. It's still possible for you. It is absolutely possible for you to even be better than what you thought it could be. It's just not going to happen with that person. So it is taking the significance and the meaning of them out of the story in your head and knowing that you're close and you're getting closer to what it is that you want and the partnership that you want and the relationship you want. You're just maybe 1 or 2 degrees off. That person is not going to be the source of it. But you're still capable and possible for you to have the life and the relationship that you want. So let's say you cognitively, like in your brain, you understand all of this, you can logic it, but your body still misses them. You still have sadness. You still have anxiety around them not being in your life. Then you need to do work to release the emotion in your body. I use somatic release breath work. It is an hour-long session. It is meant to bring up a lot of the repressed emotions so that you can clear them out of your body, and then you bring in how you want to feel. You will find that if your body is experiencing tension, stress, you don't like the way that you feel in your body, no matter how much you try to logic it, you can't logic the body. The body needs to feel the feelings. And if you keep repressing those feelings, you will continue to feel the feelings because you haven't released them. So 10 out of 10 recommend somatic release breath work for that. That's what I do with one-on-one clients. And I'm creating a group program called the Self-Aware Army Healing Community. And that will be released soon. So get on the wait list in my link in bio, or if you want to work together or ask more questions about it, hit me up in the DMs and we can talk more about not only just getting your brain to stop looping and ruminating on it, that's your brain is trying to solve a problem for the body, but we actually need the body to release the feeling so that we're no longer attached. And hey, my name's Tara and I'm on a mission to create a self-aware army because it's lonely in these self-aware streets, isn't it, Scotchy? Yes, it is. Yes, it is.